Well, here's a look at the team comparison between the Wildcats and the Friars. And as you can tell from the points per game, each club would like to play a different type of tempo tonight, Ron.
Now, Providence wants to push the basketball, play the high-scoring game. Rowley would like to get the quick lead and keep the score down if he can.
And neither club has shot it particularly well from the field, although that has been the case not only in the Big East Conference this year, but throughout the land. Earlier tonight, a special evening at Providence College because it was indeed seniors night, as members of the Providence team were honored. And the biggest applause for Eric Murdock, who is seen with his grandmother, known as Miss Anna. What a wonderful outpouring of love and emotion here in Providence tonight. Murdock raised by his grandmother. And what a marvelous story, and what a great year he's had. There's a good look at Chris Watts with his mother, Luana, and then Eric Murdock, the last introduced in Providence.
That was really a nice scene as they introduced the seniors here at Providence.
Also sharing in the moment with Eric Murdock were the wife of his high school coach, Jerry Stapleton, from Bridgewater, New Jersey. And this crowd, capacity crowd, roaring their approval.
Brian Cousins also out there with his dad. He's the senior manager in the squad. But Eric Murdock, what a season he has put together for the Friars this year.
Eric Murdock this year in the league, first in scoring, second in steals, and the numbers and the accolades go on and on.
The all-time leader in steals in NCAA history, but he really came to life this year scoring. He'd always been known for his defensive ability, but he's had 3 40-plus scoring games this year, and he's just really carried the load for the Friars.
He is a Wooden Award finalist. So we're getting set for the introduction of the starting lineups as Villanova 14-12 battles Providence 15-11. And as we spoke about it earlier, a lot on the line for both of these ball clubs. This is the 49th meeting between the two schools. Villanova leads the series 32-16. Villanova's starting lineups tonight. Lance Miller will start up front along with Aaron Bain. Mark Dowdell starts in the pivot. There's Miller, who has struggled as of late, although he leads the team in scoring and rebounding.
They need some big points from him tonight.
Here's Marquise Bragg of Providence starting in a forward spot. Had a nice year.
Really did. He had 25, a career high the other night against BC.
Now for Villanova, Aaron Bain, the sophomore from Clifton, Virginia, averaging over 10 per ball game. And for Providence, Fred Campbell, first full year at Providence after playing at Midland Junior College. Didn't get the big scoring numbers, but Barnes said earlier he's getting better all the time.
Well, as evidenced by the fact that Rick Barnes has the confidence to start him.
Mark Dowdell will start in the pivot for the Wildcats, although he's only 6'9", and plays more away from the basket. And here's Marvin Sadler, who I guess has been the surprise of the year for the Friars.
Played well in the middle, and I think a big factor in this game will who can control the boards, Dowdell, Bain, Bragg, or Sadler.
Chris Walker, who has struggled a bit, but who has made the big shots over his career.
And as we mentioned, the game could come down to that.
Chris Watts gets the start. It's only his 14th start of the year, but because he's a senior, he got the opportunity tonight. There's Greg Woodard, who is going to be a heck of a player in the years ahead. Had a fine year. Here's Eric Murdock. Rolly Massimino at the controls, 18th year at Villanova. 340 victories, and Rick Barnes in his third campaign at Providence, 50-34. The officials working tonight's ball game, all-star crew: Larry Lembo, Gene Mongi, Bob Donato. And we're just about set to go. We'll be back with the opening tip-off after these messages from your local stations. And we are just about set to go at the Providence Civic Center as the enthusiasm builds. These teams met earlier this year, February 16th, just a couple of weeks ago at DuPont. Villanova won by 9, 64-55, but they were down at the half by 9. shooting only 19%. In the second half, they shot 68%, and they won the ball game with Greg Woodard scoring 25. Villanova in the visiting deep blue. Providence in the home white. And the opening tip-off controlled by the Friars in a strange way.
Another key in that first game is Providence's Eric Murdock held to just 10 points on 3 for 17 shooting.
And Murdock goes right to the basket and draws the foul. Ron, that was his poorest shooting performance and scoring performance of the year. Just 10 points.
Well, I think he's trying to get out of the blocks quickly in this one as he takes his first opportunity right to the basket. He's a kid who will go to the line a lot.
But Murdock often starts slow.
He's had a lot of games where he puts together huge second halves, Bruce. And I think in this one, though, he doesn't want to wait around. Both teams realize the importance of this game.
So the Big East scoring leader hits the first point of the ball game.
Now, when Providence can score, they will put their full court press on, and I think the team that can get ahead in this one has a better chance to control the tempo.
Murdock perfect from the line, and the Friars with the full court pressure. Lance Miller looking for help. Gets it to Chris Walker, who pushes it across. Mark Dowdell penetrates, puts it up and in.
Strong penetrating move that time to the goal.
Villanova has really struggled in their first half shooting in the last 4 ball games. I asked Massimino about it earlier. He said there's nothing to it. I said, just put it in, I tell the guys.
Eric Murdock going against his cousin Lance Miller in this one. Nice shot.
Marvin Sadler with his first bucket, and the Friars lead it 4-2.
That's a shot that Sadler didn't take prior to this year.
Dowdell with an opening. Basket counts and a foul is called. And Dowdell out of the gate with 2 buckets and a chance for a 3-point play here.
Both teams going right at each other in the opening moments of this game. You want to attack pressure by getting the ball to the middle. There's the body foul by Marquise Bragg, and Dowdell, a very aggressive player.
So Dowdell heads to the free throw line. Bragg's first personal. Dowdell averaging under 9 per game. He already has 4.
A lot of times a game like this with a lot riding on it, teams will come out tight and won't shoot well, but both teams breaking ice very quickly here tonight.
And a whistle off the inbound and a foul call. It's on Walker. Providence will inbound again.
Rowley coming out, sitting to his left, John Olive. We got a quick shot of his son, Tom Massimino, just to Rowley's right. Villanova coming out with some early pressure as well.
Murdock handles the pressure, bounce pass to Bragg, loses control, puts it back up and in. Woodard deflected the ball, but the bucket counts, and it's 6-5 Friars. Walker double team to Aaron Bain. Woodard on the baseline, foul called. It's a holding foul on Watts.
It appears in the early going, the body contact, the reach-in will be called tonight.
Second team foul. And the Wildcats will inbound.
Friars man-to-man.
Lance Miller penetrates. And another sweet jumper by Dowdell, who now has all 7 Villanova points, and the Wildcats lead it by 1. Watts, he hits a 3-point bucket by Chris Watts, who has yet to make a 2-point basket in Big East play this year.
He loves it out behind the 3-point stripe.
He now has 127 in his career. Dowdell in and out, rebound Watts. Friars with the ball and a 2-point lead. 2 minutes gone by, high scoring first couple of minutes of play. Murdock penetrates, foul call, a reach in, out front. And it's on Lance Miller.
Lance Miller is 6'5", 6'6", so he's got a height advantage on Eric Murdock, and they're both quick. Both teams hot to start.
Foul called on the baseline, and 2 shots coming up for Mr. Murdock. Foul is on Miller, his second.
What most teams have done against Murdock is shuffle several players against him during the course of the game. Rowley up, he's obviously intense himself. for the ball game.
Murdock, who made 16 for 16 from the line against Rhode Island and 17 for 17 against Seton Hall. And he is 3 for 3 here tonight.
And that's an indication that he likes to get it to the goal, because he will get a lot of free throws in games, because he's a slashing type of scorer.
Murdock, who just blossomed this year. And he puts the Friars up 11-7. Bain in trouble, gets it away to Lance Miller. Woodard knocked away by Watts. Good hustle on the part of Dowdell. Murdock, the thief with the ball. Dishes it back to Bragg. Oh, unselfish pass for the jam. You talk about wanting to get your big people to run the floor. That'll do it when you're that unselfish.
And involve the crowd.
Miller for 3. Dowdell keeps it alive, pulled down by Campbell. Here's Murdock in transition. Friars up by 6. Murdock shakes and bakes. Out of bounds, and it will be Villanova basketball.
Friars looking to run.
We still have 17-13 to go in the first half. It's already 13-7 Providence. And checking into the Villanova lineup is James Bryson. I think Massimino wants some help on the boards. Sadler gets the steal.
This is Providence's pace. Right now, Villanova probably ought to get it up and work their half-court offense more. Nova going to the zone this time. It'll be a 2-3 matchup.
Cal Bird also in the ball game for Nova. A 3-point bucket by Watts, who has hit 2, and Massimino wants a timeout. Providence on a 10-0 run. It is 16-7 in favor of the Friars, with just 3 minutes gone by in the first half of play. A very fast start by the Providence Friars, but also a fast start by Mark Dowdell.
Oh, that's right. Providence invites you to get out and run because the openings seem to be there. Great hustle by Mark Dowdell here, but look at Providence swarm to the basketball. Murdock and Bragg, and talk about Sadler and Bragg running the floor. How about the dish back to the big fella, Marquise Bragg, for the stuff. Very unselfish pass by Murdock.
Ron, there's an unwritten rule as we look at the 10-0 run by Providence. When you save the ball, you don't throw it back towards the other basket.
Well, that's right, but he knew his man was right there, so he said, hey, take the easy one, my man.
Traveling called against Calvin Bird, and Providence gets the basketball. So the start for Watts seems to have paid off. He has delivered 2 3-pointers, and the Friars lead it by 9. Murdock got it.
Friars are really pumped up, and they're channeling all that energy into some fine shooting here in the early going.
11-point lead for Providence.
A lot of times they're so enthusiastic that the shooting isn't there, and there are a lot of turnovers, but right now Providence playing great basketball early.
This is Bird. Calvin takes the baseline, finds Bain, pump fake. Tipped up by Bryson. Loose underneath, and here come the Friars. 2-on-2. Murdock penetrates. Dishes to Sadler for the easy bucket.
Oh, what a feed!
And Providence is flat out beating Villanova down the court.
They didn't really have the numbers that time, but Murdock just made a great shift, and he's passing the ball, threading the needle so far.
Bryson out to Woodard. It is 20-7 with 15:30 to go in the first half of play. And a foul called, a reach-in on Murdock. He hacked Walker.
Well, Villanova really needs to settle it down right now and not get caught up in a road race. Run their offense. Still all kinds of time left in this ball game.
Lloyd Mumford checks in. He'll handle the point for Villanova. Lance Miller back in. Mumford, Miller, Payne, Woodard, and Bryson on the court for the Wildcats, who need a bucket just to silence this run. Payne outside Mumford. Mumford penetrates, and Bragg corrals the rebound. Murdock dishes to Watts for 3. Good hustle by Mumford to get the loose ball. Here's Miller in transition all the way, and he draws the foul. He went hard to the bucket, and he'll go to the line for 2. Marquise Bragg called for the personal. That's his second. Now for Providence, substitution, Tony Turner checks in, and Mark Dowdell back in for Villanova, replacing Aaron Bain. So Providence has exploded here in the early going. They lead 20-7. Murdock with 5 assists and 6 points. Lance Miller at the line for 2.
Lance Miller hasn't led the team in scoring the last 10 games, and he's a guy that has really emerged as a team leader, a go-to guy this year for the Cats. They need him tonight.
Well, he's led the team in scoring 8 times, but the last time he did it was back on January 19th. So as you mentioned, his productivity has decreased as the season's gone on.
And Villanova as a team, the last 4 games, they've shot under 30%. So the last thing they needed was to see the Friars come out shooting it like this tonight.
Watts, guarded by Mumford. Bragg underneath, blocked by Bryson, but a foul call from the weak side. It's on Mumford, and it will be 2 shots for the Friars.
Marquise Bragg coming off just an outstanding game against Boston College, a 1-point win here at the Civic Center. A week ago for the Friars, we had a career-high 25, plays with a lot of emotion.
Bragg for 2. He shoots better from the field than from the line. 63% from the field and just 46% from the line.
A lot of his field goal attempts are in and around the goal. A lot of dunks.
Now for Providence, Corey Floyd replaces Chris Watts, who got the start because it was seniors night and responded with 2 3-pointers. 21-9. Providence with the lead by 12 with 14.5 to go in the first half of play. Bruce Beck and Ron Perry from the Providence Civic Center. Lance Miller penetrates, foul call. It's on Tony Turner. And Miller will get a couple of shots at the stripe. Villanova's problem thus far hasn't been on the offensive end, Ronnie. It's been defense.
Haven't been able to stop the Friars. They've done a pretty good job breaking Providence's press and are taking it right to the goal.
Miller missing the first. Sadler back in for Providence, replacing Marquise Bragg.
The other thing PC has done very well, and Sadler has helped key it a couple of times, is defensive rebound. I don't think Villanova's gotten back very well defensively.
And Murdock speeding him down the floor with the basketball. So off the couple of misses, it remains a 12-point lead for the Friars. Here's Turner. Marvin Sadler makes a strong move and then throws it away. And Rolly Massimino off the bench, imploring his team to keep up that type of defensive intensity.
Yeah, they need a couple of stops, and then what they've got to do is turn it into a basket at the other end.
Mumford, the freshman from Massachusetts.
To Lexington High School, where Rolly coached in high school.
Woodard got it. Woodard, with a 14-point per game average, is on the scoreboard.
He can be streaky hot. As you mentioned, he had 25 in the first meeting between these two teams.
And prior to the Syracuse game, he had 67 points in 3 games. Simpkins has it rejected by Bryson. So Dickie Simpkins missing his first shot. On the floor for Providence now is Floyd, Murdock, Turner, Simpkins, and Sadler. And for Villanova, Munford, Miller, Dowdell, Bryson, and Woodard. Murdock outside to Turner. His 3. Rebounded by Bryson. So Nova with 2 consecutive stops. And then a turnover.
Nice play by Sadler.
Simpkins in transition. Lock. Counts and a foul. Up and down, double pump move by Simpkins.
Give the freshman credit, he just had a shot rejected. It appeared that he was going to have shot number 2 sent back in his face, but somehow avoids Bryson's arm, gets it underneath it. He'll have a chance for the 3-point play.
Rod, when he gets a little more physical, how good of a ball player can he be?
Very good. He runs the floor well, good fundamentals. I think he has a nice touch. Very positive on the potential of Dickie Simpkins.
He is one of the most talented freshmen in the league, according to a lot of coaches.
I agree.
Simpkins converts the 3-point play, and it's 24-12 Providence. 13 minutes to go, first half.
The other thing you can't do is teach size. Simpkins is 6'9".
But you can get him to bulk up, which is something Barnes wants him to do. Bain, pretty move inside, that's goaltending. Bain used the pivot foot extremely well in there and cuts the lead to 10. Now for PC, Freddie Campbell back in, replacing Turner.
Rick Barnes will go early and often to the bench. I don't think the fatigue factor will be much in this one. These teams are too pumped up for this.
Floyd pulls up. Rebound, Sadler missing. Simpkins keeps it alive, and Floyd comes down with the basketball.
A couple too many dribbles, though, by Floyd.
So Villanova with the ball, Mumford. Outside Bain. Dowdell down low on the block. Mumford way off the mark. And the rebound corralled by Campbell. Here are the Friars in transition. Murdock splits the defense, drops to Simpkins. Lance Miller is there. Providence has kind of cooled off a bit.
And they have. That was a very good scoring opportunity, unable to convert.
Foul called on Murdock, his second. So 16 fouls on each club, with well over 12 minutes to play in the first half, so we may have a parade of free throws later.
And this is more Villanova's pace here. Set up the double stack offense, take some time off the clock, try to execute.
Dowdell on the back door, rejected by Simpkins.
Beauty.
Walker back in at the point for Nova. Campbell fires. Oof. He throws up a brick. Walker spins to the front court. Miller got away with a little shuffle, and he lays it in.
Might have avoided the walk there, covered some ground. Good fast break, though, by the Cats.
8-point game.
Villanova man-to-man.
Miller on Murdock.
Look at the double up.
Murdock penetrates and hits.
That's one way to take care of the double team. Just split it.
I thought you're not supposed to dribble through people like that.
Unless you're Eric Murdock.
Murdock with 8 points. Mismatch thing up. Good mismatch. Gets the roll and puts it in.
Good job on the screening to have Floyd matched up against Bain for Villanova. He has about 6 inches on him.
Bain with 4. Sadler fires from long range. Campbell keeps it alive, and a foul called underneath on Bain. So Providence getting those long rebounds, much to the dislike of Rolly Massimino. Marquise Bragg back in the game for the Friars, replacing Dickie Simpkins, who was certainly active.
Yeah, I thought he ran the floor well, mixed it up under the boards.
He's 6'9", 228. His coach wants him to get bigger. What are we looking at, 6'9", 245?
Perhaps, or sometimes you hit the weights, you just turn some of your body strength into more muscle without putting on a lot of bulk. I don't think he wants him to tighten up too much and lose the stroke.
I've been trying to do that for years. Campbell hitting the first and burying the second, and we have a timeout of the court. 10:43 to go in the first half. Providence by 10. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local stations. This copyrighted telecast produced by authority of the Big East Conference and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Big East Conference is prohibited. 28-18, Providence leading Villanova with 10.5 to go in the first half of play. You would think these two teams would play low-scoring games, but last year, Villanova won both, and they scored 102 in one game and 96 in another.
Beating Providence at its own game.
Walker penetrates, dishes to Lance Miller. Murdock gets the rebound. 2-on-2, Murdock pulls up, he hits! Off balance!
Oh, Chris Walker was right in his face, but Murdock very confident.
He forced it, but he made it.
He feels he can score in almost any situation now. He takes it down, and he's made some incredible shots like that one all year long.
Wildcats down by a dozen.
Woodard's got to get more involved for Villanova. He's taken only one shot, made the three.
Woodard penetrates, dishes to Bain. Bain with his own board. It won't drop for him. And the rebound to Bragg, outlet Murdock. Watts. They want him to take the three here at home. Bragg loses it in traffic. And we have a whistle underneath as Anthony Pell commits his first foul. So Pell making his first appearance, the freshman from Stevenson High School in the Bronx. And on the scoreboard, Connecticut leading Pittsburgh 29-21. This is important because if UConn beats Pitt and Providence beats Villanova, then Providence will be the 7th seed for the tournament, and Villanova will have to play Boston College in the qualifying game on Thursday. Marvin Sadler at the line. He has 4 points in the game.
Connecticut playing that game at Pittsburgh tonight.
And Ronnie, the reason that would happen as far as the tiebreaker is concerned, there would be at least 3 teams in the grouping with records of 9-7. And against any of those groupings, Providence comes out ahead of Villanova in the overall record. Here's Calvin Bird.
I'm glad you knew all that.
It is amazingly confusing this late in the season.
Well, the thing is so many teams have bunched up with their records.
They're juxtaposed in the standings. That's Woodard underneath. And he hits. And that's what you were talking about, getting Woodard into the flow offensively.
Well, he's a guy who's capable of getting Villanova 25 points, but to do it, got to put some shots up.
25 is exactly what he had in the first meeting between these two teams. Good hustle by Walker. He gets the steal.
Not a good look by Campbell, though.
Villanova down by 10. Bryson. And you can tell these are not Villanova baskets because that ball is floating around the rim and it just won't go down for him.
That would have been a good example, Bruce, of the big man from Villanova getting it in the low post and swinging the basketball to the opposite wing. Woodard was wide open, spotted for the three.
Foul was called on Bryson over the top, his second personal. And because Nova is over the limit, it will be 1-1 at the other end. Five points, 2 rebounds for Marquise Bragg.
Other than Murdock, though, it's been an adventure at the line for Providence.
And it continues to be that way as Walker gets the rebound. So Walker and Bird, Lance Miller, Woodard, and Bryson on the floor for Villanova. Walker from 3, and again it goes around the rim and out. And Villanova can't catch a break.
Must be a lid on the Nova basket.
But they're getting better shots.
They are. They're getting them out of the half-court set, which is the way they'd like to do it.
Dowdell getting set to report back in for the Wildcats. Now at the point is Trent Forbes for Providence as Murdock goes to the off guard. Steal by Nova. Walker lays it up and in.
That's good helping out by Villanova defensively. They're not trying to play Murdock even up. He penetrates. A couple of people there to...
And again, a good defensive play by Villanova. Walker to Woodard. Leads to Bryson. Got it, and a foul called on Forbes. And Bryson, a chance for a three-point play, and Villanova a chance to cut it to 5.
Providence has gone cold. Villanova is doing it now with their defense. And when you get a steal, you want to cash in at the other end. A telegraph pass by Trent Forbes this time, and it's a very nice fast break by Villanova. Woodard pulls back for the 3, but then gives it up to the streaking Bryson, who converts and enjoys it.
Cal Bird made a real nice reach by knocking it away.
Terrific. He was very quick defensively.
Marquise Bragg has the rebound. Now with under 8 minutes to go in the first half of play, Providence's lead is down to 6. Murdock to Watts. Threw it away. Let's see if it was deflected. It was.
Villanova's intensity, though, defensively has really picked up from the beginning of the game.
And they're also stopping the transitional buckets. 30-24 our score. Providence with the lead. 7:40 to go. First half. We'll be back.
The Big East Dunk of the Week, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
Second ball, he was dribbling laterally.
McNeil knocks it off the back of the rim. Down the floor, wide open for the jam.
Oh, he can get up,
Abram.
Well, the Villanova Wildcats on a 6-0 run the last couple of minutes with Eric Murdock on the bench, and they have battled back into this game trailing by 6.
Villanova has picked up their shooting from the early going, and Providence, of course, had opened up, making most of their shots. Has still shooting well, but they've cooled off with Murdock on the bench.
And the tempo of the game more to Villanova's liking.
Not as quick as it was, and part of that is Providence cooling off, not getting into their press. Villanova working their half-court set a bit more.
Providence will inbound underneath their bucket. Dickie Simpkins back on the floor outside Murdock. David Miller in the game defensively against Murdock for Villanova. Murdock dishes, loses it. Bain helped out, and Villanova doing an excellent job of team defense right now. Bird to Bain. Loses it. Gets it back. And wisely regroups.
See, Villanova is a better half-court team than Providence is, and Providence is better in the open court. TC wants to defend and get out and run.
Woodard, nothing but net, and it's 30-26, a 2-point bucket.
Tough to get out and run, though, when the opposition, in this case the Cats, shoot the ball well.
Murdock on the move, and a blocking foul called on David Miller. Boy, that was close, almost an offensive foul. On the Buick scoreboard, Connecticut with a 12-point lead over Pittsburgh. Both UConn and Seton Hall are heading into the Big East tournament on definite highs.
Yeah, they really have picked up, and that's what you want to do. This man has had his team on many a positive note heading into tournament time. Knows he needs this one tonight.
Murdock hitting the first. 5 for 5 from the line of the game. Massimino really believes that this game is the key game because this would get his club to 8-8 in the league, 15-12 overall. And as Ron mentioned in the open, no Big East team, which had a record of 8-8 since the tournament expanded to 64 in 1985, was denied an NCAA bid. Villanova down by 6. 6:45 to go, first half of play. Fryer Miller at the point.
Fryer's now digging in a bit more with their man-to-man. It's really where you've got to do it. You've got to bear down and stop the team that you're playing against a couple of times if you want to control the pace of the game.
Dowdell with that pump fake. Simpkins has the rebound. Murdock to the front court.
One of his teammates ought to step up and screen for him. He has to do it all on his own, which he can do.
Murdock is making his baskets tonight on the most difficult moves.
Yeah, occasionally you might think if one of his teammates saw him up there at the top, just set a screen at the top of the key, but he can do it one-on-one, no question.
14 for Murdock, 4 for 5. Woodard for 3. Got it, and he is on fire.
He's got the stroke going, and he made that first one. Built his confidence.
34-29. Providence by 5. Watch to Murdock. Miller in his face. Frags. Outside Watts, who's spotting up around that three-point line, looking for the jumper at any opportunity. Campbell, good defense here by Villanova. Shot clock down to 17. And there's the turnover forced by the tenacious defense and the good positioning of the Wildcats.
See, there is still 25 seconds on the shot clock, but Providence tends to get more uncomfortable as the clock goes down because they haven't turned up the quick shot.
There's a look at the turnovers, which has gotten a lot closer. Early on, it was Villanova with most of the turnovers. Lance Miller penetrates, puts it in. It will not count. A blocking foul called by Gene Manji before the shot.
I thought
it will not count.
I thought this was an even tougher call than the one on David Miller. Watch Floyd get in there.
I think he's moving.
He's got some movement, but he's also got pretty good position. That's probably the toughest call that an official has.
Was he sticking the knee out?
He leaned a little bit, but there can be movement. You can be moving as long as you're squared up in front of the guy, and that one was awfully close, right on the edge.
It's the principle of verticality again, Ron. It comes back to haunt you. Lance Miller at the line. The foul is called against Floyd, and Miller will shoot one in. And he hits the first. Villanova has committed 10 team fouls. Providence 8. So any Villanova foul from here on in, the Friars will shoot 2. This is as close as Villanova has been since the very early part of this ball game. It is 34-31.
Well, a word that coaches use a lot is keep your poise, and that's exactly what Villanova has done in this first half.
Campbell dishes off. Oh, a nice finger roll by Marquise Bragg.
He just willed that basketball in.
4:50 to go. First half of play, 36-31 Providence.
Neither team really plays with a true pivot man. They've got several people that play forward, so no one just dominating the inside game.
Villanova on a 13-6 run.
Got to see if they can screen for Woodard. He's got the hot hand if they can find him.
Walker working against Murdock. Woodard 4 for 4 from the field thus far. Down low Bain. Woodard penetrates. Dowdell on the drive.
No question
And
that
time it's offensive.
The one thing with Woodard, he can't create his shot the way a Murdock can one-on-one. He needs to be open, have some space to get it off.
Good point. Back in the game for Providence is Marvin Sadler. Friars now going with Murdock and Simpkins. Marvin Sadler, Freddie Campbell, and Corey Floyd. On the Buick scoreboard, halftime, and UConn leads Pittsburgh by 9 at Pitt. Bryson is back in there for Villanova along with Bain, Woodard, Walker, and Miller. And again, the Wildcats force a turnover.
And Rick Barnes, looking at Marvin Sadler, just gives him the 2 hands up. In other words, stay cool out there. Don't let it bother you. But clearly, you don't want to have those just mental errors offensively.
Walker. Bain posting up. And again, Murdock, the all-time steals leader, gets a steal, and Bryson is called for a reach-in foul. And that is his 3rd, I believe.
This game is really being well officiated tonight. 3 guys are really on the ball. There's Aaron Bain, the strip by Murdock, and he has a tough time picking it up. The man of steel, and then as he dribbles up court, Bryson makes the mistake of trying to pick his pocket with the reach.
Should the rule be if Murdock is close by, don't put the ball on the floor?
Probably. He's picked too many pockets throughout his career. Probably a good piece of advice.
15 for Murdock, perfect from the free throw line in the ball game.
Thought early in this game, Murdock much more offensive-minded. He's put up the big numbers again for the half.
Murdock 8 for 8 from the line, 16 points, and he's supposed to be a second half player. 38-31, the Friars with the lead. We'll be back. Oftentimes, actions speak louder than words. Case in point, Roland Massimino, coach of Villanova.
He definitely gets into it on game night, doesn't he?
I believe he was reacting to the Bryson foul.
He was making the play over there in his mind, the reach-in by his center on the way down, trying to steal it from Murdock.
So here we go with 3:44 to play in the first half of play. Walker, ball is deflected, and a tie-up. And on the held possession, it will be Villanova basketball. Bruce Beck and Ron Ferry with you from the Providence Civic Center, and this is a crucial ball game for both teams. Final regular season contest for both in the Big East.
The NCAA right around the corner. Both teams feel they have to get this win tonight.
They feel they have to enhance their opportunity with a win, Ron.
I would agree.
And also on the line, neither club wanting to play the extra game in the Big East tournament. They don't want to end up as the 8th seed. Lance Miller, offensive foul. He just Razor Ruddock Floyd.
No doubt about that call with the off arm. Bruce, the only thought on playing the consolation or the elimination game, qualifying game, the 9-8 game next week would be it is an opportunity to get another win because BC has only won one game this year in Big East play.
Lance Miller was charged with the foul, his third. I agree with you, but do you trade the loss tonight for the win there or the possible win there? As Simpkins lays it up and in. I think you play to win all the time, right?
Oh, there's no question about that. It's just that with the many combinations, if you do play BC and get another game on top of this one, you know, clearly that helps out. Always play to win, though. No question about that.
And a game against BC is never a guarantee.
That's for sure.
Baseline jumper, loose underneath. Campbell corrals it for the Friars. Providence has opened up by 9 again. And Murdock draws the foul. He'll head to the line, and that will be 2 shots with Villanova committing their 11th team foul.
High-scoring game here in the first half. Tends to favor Providence. Rowley certainly not happy with that play.
Villanova got as close as 3. He's chewing on Larry Lembo a little bit. But since they cut it to 3, it is now up to 9. And with Murdock on the line, it's building back to 10.
He's on a roll from the stripe.
83% for the year, but when he gets the rhythm, as he did in other ball games this year, look out. The curse.
That's all we needed to say.
9 for 10 now for Murdock from the line. Bain, tough shot.
Loves to go to his left.
41-33, 6 for Bain. Murdock to Dickie Simpkins. Corey Floyd dishes outside. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the first half. Murdock for 3, way off the mark. And Campbell gets a long rebound for the Friars. They have gotten many. And that will be part of Massimino's speech at the half.
Now that's always a sign of a team that's ahead when they come up with those loose balls.
Simpkins back and goes to Murdock. And a foul is called underneath.
I think it might be Mumford from behind, and it's a great diving effort by Bain to steal the ball in the lane. You always hear coaches talk about getting enough spacing. This is a give and go on the last play, and a bit too close when you watch this one. Murdock will, there he gives it and he goes, but look how close. It's almost a handoff to the point where it's not smooth. I think Providence catches a break there.
I think so
from
too,
behind.
because Bain's effort was certainly clean. Murdock at the line, 1-1. 18 points now for Murdock. 6 assists and 3 steals. Not bad. And it was called a 2-shot foul, not a 1-and-1.
We're just in the first half.
Providence on a 9-2 run. They've opened up a 10-point lead. Murdock with the steal. And Mumford gets it back momentarily, and a foul is called on Corey Floyd.
You know what that reminded me of is a pop fly. The shortstop, center fielder, and left fielder all look at the ball drop in. There were 3 Friars right there. No one grabbed the ball.
How do you explain this pass by Murdock?
Well, I think he's falling out of bounds. So he says, hey, I'm going to just flip it in there. And watch the 3 guys. Bang, everyone just looks at it, especially Corey Floyd. Tries to make up for it, gets the foul.
Well, you were an infielder. Who should have gotten the ball?
Closest man to it's got to go for it. The guy with the look to it going toward your basket, it was Floyd that time. In baseball, it's your center fielder. He's got to come in and take charge.
Were you a third baseman or a shortstop?
Played a little of both, and I'd be running out with my back to that one, hoping someone would call me off on the play.
Ron Perry had a distinguished career.
I don't know about that.
At Holy Cross. 43-35 the score. Minute 35 to go in the first half of play. Murdock out of the backcourt, set play. Murdock penetrates. Dishes off to Fred Campbell. Outside, Dickie Simpkins.
See, that's as a result of Murdock's presence on the floor. Simpkins the nice finish, but guys really get some open shots.
Lloyd Mumford back at the point.
Villanova really needs a basket here.
Woodard got it. Woodard is 5 for 5 from the field. And the rebound pulled in by Bain. That last bucket was a 2-point field goal. Dowdell in the paint. Dishes out to Mumford for 3. Murdock gets the board. 40 seconds to go. Murdock streaking. And it's tipped in by a following Marvin Sadler. Shot clock off, 30 seconds to go. Providence by 10.
Villanova will probably hold for the last shot and try to go in under 10, which would maybe give them some momentum going into the second half.
Woodard off the pick, fires. His first miss of the first half. Providence with the ball, plenty of time for Murdock, 7 seconds. Murdock penetrated, 5 to go. Simpkins. And that is it. So Villanova made one valiant run to cut it to 3, 34-31, but mostly it was a Providence control first half of play. They lead it 47-37. We'll be back with our halftime report after these words from your local stations. Bruce Beck and Ron Perry back at the Providence Civic Center. We're at halftime. Providence leads Villanova by a score of 47-37. Let's check some of the interesting numbers that transpired in the first half of play. First of all, field goal shooting.
Always helps we can shoot over 50%. Providence did it from the get-go and controlled tempo in the first half.
3-point buckets, not much happening there.
Not really. Watts was hot early, but both teams cooled off.
And on the boards, always interesting to note that this time Providence with a lead.
That's key, especially in terms of getting out and running with the ball, which the Friars did.
Woodard 5 for 6. He didn't really get too many opportunities. Murdock 19 points.
Murdock penetrated early, got to the line a lot. Woodard needs to get more shots in this second half. They've got a screen for him to free him up.
Let's take a look at Murdock making things happen.
How about this one? The trap there, Bain and Miller. Murdock just lowers the shoulder, splits, able to hit the runner.
Now Murdock in transition.
Very tough shot he takes here, and no call, no harm, no foul. Makes another tough runner, and that's the way he likes to score. In traffic, around people. Woodard on the other end, very effective when he got the opportunities.
And when he pops out off the screen, that's where he's most effective.
That's right. He's really got to get that opening to get the shot off, and got great form when he lets it go.
Woodard leading the way with 12 for the Wildcats. Miller has 3 fouls. Bain did a pretty good job of that first half of play. Also for the Friars, 19 Murdock, 7 Simpkins. Bragg also played well. Look at that. Pretty good balance after Murdock, meaning a lot of guys are contributing.
Yeah, he needs that because he can't do it all by himself. When he tends to get 40 or more, they don't win. So they do need that balance.
And on the Buick scoreboard, Connecticut continues to lead Pittsburgh 47-37. Once again, just to reiterate the scenario for the upcoming Big East tournament, if Pittsburgh beats UConn, Providence will be in the qualifying game no matter what. But if UConn beats Pitt and Providence beats Villanova, then Providence will be the 7th seed for the tournament, and Villanova will play the qualifying game against Boston College. Providence will inbound to begin the second half of play. Eric Murdock needs just 15 points to become the best scorer for a season in terms of average in the history of the Big East. Danny Calandrillo, the only man ahead of him. Bragg puts up the first shot, rebound Bain.
That can be a tough shot, the one right from in front of the basket. He really banged that one.
Woodard outside Bain. Dowdell threw it away. Murdock with the steal. Murdock on the penetration. Now he brings it out. Here's Watts. Half-court offense this time for Providence. I thought they controlled tempo well late in the first half. After Villanova made a run, they pushed it again. Miller with the rebound.
Good defense by Villanova that time.
Lance Miller on the penetration, forces it, no foul, rebound Watts.
Seems like there's got to be some call there, whether it's a block or an offensive.
Murdock threw it away, Bain is there, so the two clubs come out a little sloppy. Villanova 14-12, 7-8 in the league. Providence 15-11, 6-9 in the Big East. Providence at home is 14-2.
They've been very tough here.
Walker drives, dishes off to Miller.
Pittsburgh and Connecticut, the only two teams, the Friars here this year.
Foul called on Providence. I think this is one of the toughest places in America in terms of a home court advantage.
Yeah, they really get into it here. We had a couple of explosions in the first half, but right now it's quiet in the Civic Center and an opportunity for Villanova to pick up some momentum.
Lance Miller backs in, and he gets the roll. Nice soft touch.
Well, he's another one who likes to get it to the goal. That was a tough runner, and he's matched up against Eric Murdock and talking to him a bit defensively.
First bucket of the second half. We've played almost 2 minutes. Remember, early in the first half, both teams came out smoking. Murdock working against Walker. Sadler way outside. And Providence is not penetrating.
They're standing around, and they tend to get into this kind of a rut out of their half-court set.
Sadler burying one from long range. That helps. At 24 against Connecticut. He is out of the doghouse and making things happen this year.
Staying out of foul trouble, too. Throughout his career, he'd get into the foul difficulty, and Providence needs Sadler out there.
Lance Miller takes it to the bucket, misses the chippy. Here's Watts. Campbell for three, and Woodard corrals the board. Walker to Lance Miller, penetrates, puts it up, foul called, offensive. So Lance Miller is taking things into his own hands, commits his fourth personal.
He's really forcing it in there in this second half, able to get a basket to go, but one no call. And then this time he picks up number 4. Good job by Providence.
Bragg stepped in there. So back to the live action. It's 49-39 Providence with 17 minutes to go in the second half. Eric Murdock threw it away.
Now that's just bad timing. Sadler thought the penetration was happening, and Murdock thought Sadler was holding.
Calvin Bird back in for Villanova, the sophomore from Hayward, California. Lance Miller heads to the bench. He's got 4 fouls. Good or bad that he wanted to take it into his own hands offensively?
Well, I think it's good that he wanted to, but just a couple of decisions that were a little bit questionable.
Bird, good dish. Dowdell missing underneath. On the ball, the call underneath by Larry Lembo. Ball goes out of bounds, and Villanova will keep possession.
Looked like a hand got in there by Providence, too. blocked that shot.
I wasn't sure if Dowdell was going for the dunk or not.
I think he was, but the ball was deflected.
Walker off the mark on the three. Foul underneath. It's a push-off against Providence. It's Freddie Campbell. And Villanova will get another chance to make a bucket here. They will inbound once again.
Villanova's entire bench up that time. You can see them all sitting down there at the bottom of your picture.
Second foul on Campbell. Woodard outside to Bird. Dowdell to Bain. Nice look. Bain puts it in.
That's some good high-low passing by Villanova.
So the interior passing gets Villanova within 8. 49-41.
Beginning of the second half, I think, as important as the beginning of the game in terms of, maybe even more important, to get momentum, because whatever you do now can set the stage for the end of the ball game.
I agree with you. Watts, Sadler, Campbell.
And both teams have come out flat to start this second half.
Watts with a crazy three. Sadler with the rebound. He hits another long jumper. And Marvin Sadler is pumping up his teammates.
And more importantly than hitting a couple of baskets, he's playing with some fire out there for the Friars.
Sadler with 171 points this year after scoring 97 in his first 2 years. Real turnaround there. Over the basket. Providence will get it back. And there is a timeout on the court. So the Friars with a 10-point lead. 15:43 to go in the second half of play. Marvin Sadler exploded against UConn on January 19th for 24 points and 6 rebounds. And since that ball game, he has played with a great deal of confidence.
Now, that's all it takes. And to get a shot to go down, he had hit one here in the second half, made another one. And he's clearly giving his team a lift right now when they need it.
It is a 10-point lead for the Providence College Friars. 15.5 to go in the second half. Murdock to Fred Campbell. Outside to Chris Watts. Watts, the senior, playing his final home ball game, and a beautiful dish to Marquise Bragg.
Speaking of playing with emotion,
12-point lead for the Friars. Bain dishes to Woodard.
Well, Villanova needs to answer here.
Dowdell outside Walker. Good defense by Providence. And the ball goes out of bounds. I believe that Murdock got popped in the nose.
Chris Walker just too close to his man there. And Villanova are suddenly out of sync offensively themselves.
Providence will get the basketball. Let's look at that last wild altercation along the sidelines. Actually, a wild exchange, should I say.
Good hustle going for the loose ball. The pass. Then it looks like he must have gotten popped in the nose there by Aaron Bain on the reach.
Murdock at the controls. Big East scoring leader. UConn by 11 at Pitt. So things are shaping up nicely for the Friars if they can keep their lead here. Murdock double teamed and draws the foul.
Beautiful job there, getting people up in the air, drawing the foul.
A la Walt Clyde Frazier. Maybe nobody did it better.
Well, he was one of the great ones, but watch the up fake here. Gets Woodard flying by. Another up fake, both guys. It really is a technique to be able to draw fouls. It doesn't just happen. Nice job by Murdock.
Lloyd Mumford into the game for Villanova.
Thought he was shooting it, though. They say
so too.
On the floor.
So it's inbounded to Providence. Murdock dishes to Campbell, lays it in. Uncontested.
Another assist for Murdock.
Largest lead of the game, 14 for the Friars. And a steal by Watts. Murdock penetrates. Misses the easy one. And the rebound pulled in by Bryson. But he stepped out of bounds. Or he walked. What was the call?
I thought the basketball might have hit the basket support.
In any event, it will be Providence basketball.
Hit the back of the backboard off of Villanova. Good alert officiating.
Sadler to Watts. Murdock posting up down low on Mumford, and he draws the foul. And Providence is really opening things up right now.
As quickly as Providence can put things on the board, though, Bruce, they have been a team that you can come back against because of the open style of their play. However, Villanova in danger right now of letting this thing get too far away.
Corey Floyd in the game for Providence. Lance Miller back in with 4 fouls, replacing Bain for Villanova. Wildcats going with Mumford, Woodard, Bryson, Miller. And Pell.
Oh, must be something about this basket.
Yes.
Villanova had a few of those in the first half.
For Providence right now, it's Murdock and Floyd. Bragg up front with Freddie Campbell and Marvin Sadler.
Still all kinds of time in this game. Villanova really just has to regroup right now. Try to break the pressure, maybe attack once in a while. You know, don't get too lulled into the half-court game themselves.
Mumford to Woodard, fires. Rebound, Pell. Misses the dunk. Woodard gets the rebound, and we got a foul called against Providence.
That was a case where Mumford had the shooter over there, Woodard, but gives him the ball down by his shoelaces. Got to give the shooter the ball in a position where he can shoot the ball all in one motion.
Third on Campbell. Now Sadler leaves the game, and Simpkins checks in for the Friars. And Villanova will inbound.
The freshman Pell might have been able to just bang that one off the backboard instead of going for the jam.
But that's a freshman error. You want to do it with tenacity rather than with finesse.
But what Rowley will remind him of is, just get me the deuce. I don't care how you do it.
Floyd is called for the foul there, so Villanova will try a third time. 4 team fouls Providence, 3 team fouls Villanova. Greg Woodard penetrates, pulls up. Long rebound comes down to Fred Campbell. Eric Murdock. Fall away by Floyd is good.
Oh, what a shot.
Corey Floyd from Linden, New Jersey, who has played only 59 minutes of the last 9 games, trying to regain some confidence. Pell throws up an air ball, gets it back, and then we get a held ball, and the arrow points to Villanova. I wouldn't want to tie up Marquise Bragg.
That's for sure. One of the strongest players on the floor, pound for pound.
Here's a look at Marquise Bragg. He is the Phil Esposito of the Big East, always around the goal and always difficult to move.
Good analogy.
Woodard with position, and we get a foul called. It's a reach on Murdock. 58-41. Providence has opened up here in the second half. 11-4. They have outscored the Wildcats. 5 team fouls, however, on the Friars. Villanova needs a bucket.
Woodard's been the go-to guy. Lance Miller is a guy that can take it to the goal for Villanova. These guys have got to score for Villanova now. Got to keep their poise, but again, 17 points, you start chipping away at that.
The Wildcats need somebody offensively who will pick up the slack. Miller drives. Bain with the offensive rebound, and he puts it back in.
That's a big bucket for Villanova.
Sometimes it's those type of plays that get you going.
Rowley and his bench, everybody standing, they realize a lot is riding on this game.
Murdock and a reach-in foul on Lance Miller, and that is his 5th. And it was not a good foul.
It really wasn't, and he goes,
and he lands on press row.
Right over the table.
The last thing he wants to do is report on this game.
Now that's number 5. Rowley will have to sit him probably for the next 4 or 5 minutes.
So now Massimino, in need of an offensive spark, has to go without his leading scorer.
That's right. He's saying to him as he goes over, I just didn't need you picking that one up. I need you on the floor.
Murdock drives, and a reach-in foul is called.
I think this kind of a game, officiated close, Bruce, with the reach-ins, favors Providence because Murdock, in his penetrating ability, he lands on the line so much.
Yeah, why is that? Is it just the way that he goes to the basket with authority? Is it his quickness?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not a guy all year long that likes to pull up in the wide open. He'd prefer to score in traffic, and as a result, draws a lot of fouls, a lot of contact.
At the line, 20 points in the game. Foul was on Bird, his second. Murdock converts at the line. Providence on a 10-2 run. Murdock converting from the free throw stripe. 17-point lead for Providence with 12:20 to go in the second half.
Providence playing good half-court man-to-man right now.
Chris Walker, a three-point threat. He's hit 54 this year. Fires off the mark. Out of bounds. Villanova will get another try. No, the basketball will go to Providence.
Stand still.
Well, the Wildcats have had lots of opportunities on offense. Ball just won't go down for them. A scrum on the court. Now we finally get a held ball.
Villanova showing full court pressure now. They really have to try to get a couple of turnovers, and they were after that one.
So the Wildcats will try to shake the Blues. Down by 17, 11:56 to go. Back after these words from your local station. Sponsorship of Big East basketball. Here's a look at the field goal percentage by half, and keep in mind in the first meeting between these two teams this year, Villanova shot 19% in the first half and 68% in the second half. So they seem to struggle during one stanza.
Well, that's been their big concern coming into this game, is the lack of consistent shooting.
Floyd. Corey Floyd to Chris Watts to Eric Murdock.
Was a game last year, though, at DuPont where Providence blew a 17 or 19-point lead in the second half, and the Cats won it in overtime, Bruce.
And they blew a lead this year in the first meeting between the two. So it could happen, but this lead of 17 looks fairly safe at home. And with Villanova looking for some offense. Bain fires for three, and he gets the bank.
Tells his teammates later, I planned on the bank.
You have to call glass on that one. Floyd. Oh, a demonstrative slam by Corey Floyd, only 6'3", but he got way up there.
I knew he was fast. Now I know he's a great leaper, too.
That could be the dunk of the week.
Oh, that's a strong contender.
Bain down low. Nice look to Bird. Has it stripped by Murdock.
Should have taken the open jumper.
The man of steel brings it up court, sets for three. Rebound, Bragg. Still loose in there. Bryson saves it. Gets it off to Chris Walker. Aaron Bain for three. Out of bounds. Villanova will keep it.
Hey, for Villanova, though, to make up the deficit now, they're going to have to beat Providence at the Friars game, which is up and down the floor.
On the Buick scoreboard with 6 minutes to play, it is UConn by 6 now. That lead has dwindled. Again, the importance of that ball game for the upcoming Big East tournament. If UConn beats Pitt, Providence beats Villanova, then Providence will be the 7th seed, Villanova the 8th seed. Bryson gets the putback. And then a warning for the official to leave the ball alone.
It's always a tactic by the offensive team to help set up the full court press.
As far as the NCAA tournament is concerned, this game very important to both teams. They just need wins. You've got to accumulate wins. Villanova has 14, Providence 15.
That's the big thing. I mean, we talk about positioning for the Big East tournament. I mean, a lot of people feel 6 teams will go. Will 8 go? Hey, it depends on teams like Providence and Villanova. Can they get enough wins?
And quality wins are nice, but first you got to look at overall wins.
That's right.
I think Villanova has to win one more ball game to be considered. Watts missing. Bragg with the rebound. He puts it in. It will not count. Foul before. It's called on Woodard underneath. His second.
Becoming a key area of this game. Providence had the advantage at halftime, and they continue to get the rebounds, particularly the second and third chances.
Rolly Massimino knows that his club faces an uphill battle with Miller on the bench with 5 fouls. Really nobody looking for the shot except for Bain, who has not been shy about taking it. Woodard perhaps needs to shoot more.
He has to, but people have to step forward. Oh, good pass.
Floyd gets the bucket on an assist from Watts.
Got to be a missed assignment on defense when you allow a layup like that.
The Friars by 16.
Villanova right now. They've got to start. It's under 10 to go in the game. They've got to start chopping away at this lead.
Woodard missing. Bain keeping it alive. Out of bounds. Villanova will keep it. And Bain is playing one heck of an all-around game.
Great hustle, but it did look like it went off of him on that play.
And Bain's had some big offensive games this year. He had 27 against St. John's. Had a good month of February. So he's doing it with hustle tonight. Lance Miller back in with 5 fouls and 9:11 to play. Massimino letting it all hang out. Walker on the penetration, and a foul is called. It's on Eric Murdock. 4 personals on Murdock.
Not that long ago, Bruce did a game here, UConn game, where Murdock fouls out in overtime. Bit of a touch foul on Murdock. He can't believe it.
Walker at the controls for Villanova. James Bryson puts it up, tips it up, and we have a foul on Bryson over the top.
Time and time again we see that, where a player so anxious to make up for a miss or a mistake commits the foul.
Quick whistles now on both ends of the court. And that is now 17 fouls at Villanova. They are over the limit. And Providence will shoot 1 and 1. As a team, the Friars shoot 68% overall and 71% in league games. That is down from Providence teams in the past, which shot close to 75%.
That's outstanding. Anytime you can get up over 70, it's good free throw shooting. Mid-70s is excellent.
Walker with the rebound to Woodard. Greg drives, and he draws the foul, and he was hammered. And he'll go to the line for 2 shots with his ball club down 16 and 8:44 left.
But one thing that Providence doesn't want to do right now, up by 16 points, is foul Villanova every time down the floor. They're an excellent foul shooting team. They've really got to make Villanova earn it from the outside.
Villanova shoots 75% in league games. Greg Woodard at the line, 12 points, all in the first half. The leading scorer for Villanova is Bain with 13. And for Providence, Murdock has 22, Sadler 10, and Bragg 9. David Miller getting set to report back in for the Wildcats, replacing Aaron Bain, who I would expect would just get a quick breather and be back in the game.
If you want to talk about near perfect shooting form, Greg Woodard's got it. Perfect stroke.
Greg Woodard with 860 plus career points. Last year he averaged 11.9 per game. This year 14.2. Next year as a senior, I would think he could be close to 20 points per game. David Miller gets the steal and puts it in. And Villanova claws back within 12. Here's the full court pressure.
Bothering Providence. It's a very aggressive full court press by the Cats, and he's going to call an offensive foul here.
So Villanova's pressure causing trouble for the Friars. And the push-off is called on Freddie Campbell. That is his 4th personal. And a timeout taken by Rick Barnes. So at 8:31 to play, Villanova trying to get back in the ball game, down by 12. Back after these words from your local stations. Well, Villanova on a 9-4 run, and mainly because of defense.
Well, they've got the full court press going now, able to trap deep in the corner. Miller follows through with the basket, and then they were able to get Fred Campbell with the push-off with the right arm right there. And now they'll inbound and see if they can take advantage of another Friar turnover.
So here's the situation. Villanova down by 12 points with 8:30 left.
They're making their run, though, now, right when they need to do it.
Lance Miller, yes! And it is 64 to 54. Miller playing with 5 fouls.
Look at Rowley over there with the
Defense-offense substitution move. David Miller and Cal Bird come in.
Rowley showed the great first step out of his seat. Providence has to handle the ball better now against pressure.
Bragg outside to Murdock. Villanova trying to make their run. Corey Floyd backing in. Bragg. Rebound Wildcats. And David Miller was hacked underneath. And Providence is over the limit. Marquise Bragg nailed him. That is number 4 on Bragg. And it will be 1-1 at the other end.
Providence looked very uncomfortable that time. As you see, Connecticut pulling away from Pittsburgh at Pitt with a couple of minutes to go.
Bragg goes out of the game.
Big momentum shift here. Miller, as you mentioned, playing with 5 is key to Villanova's run. Providence really needs to keep its poise right now, even though they're ahead in the game.
And Miller misses the front end to the 1-1.
Those are critical when you're making that climb.
Absolutely. Eric Murdock, who's been quiet offensively for a while. He won't be quiet down the stretch if you have to foul him, though. Murdock for 3. Off the mark. Long rebound to Walker. 4 on 2. Miller. Miller. Back to Miller. Underneath it goes to Bryson.
Oh, it's a war under there.
And look at Villanova work. Lance Miller with the step. Rejected by Sadler.
Oh, what action. Reset the clock.
Villanova desperate for a bucket. Lance Miller pulls up. Foul. Basket counts. And Nova is within 8.
Big run by Villanova. They were down by 17. Really against the ropes, and they've made their run now. And they've got Providence very tentative all of a sudden.
They're not going to get many more chances, so they've got to keep this continuity going, because if Providence opens it up one more time, the clock at 7:11, you would think that that would be enough.
No, that's right. They had to make the run when they did it, and now they have to try to keep the thing within 5 to 7 points to stay within distance.
Campbell was charged with the foul, by the way. That's his 5th. So Miller missing a couple of free throws here, crucial ones. But Villanova is within 8. Floyd, Sadler, backs in. Got away with a walk. And the outside, Floyd missing. Simpkins gets the offensive board. Sadler, that's his range. 15 to 17 feet.
Big bucket for Providence.
12 points for Sadler. David Miller. He's in there for defensive purposes.
This is take charge time. Look at Lance Miller. He just goes and gets it.
Nice move, but it won't drop. Good hustle by Lance Miller, and went off a Providence player. But Gene Monge says it went off him. So it is Providence ball.
Lance Miller can't believe it. He thought he made the great save, but the ruling is that it bounced back and hit him. Let's take
close. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you, that was a great hustle play by Lance Miller.
I
the
don't
ball
think it hit
bounced
him.
back off of him. That's the ruling anyhow.
Quick foul called on Mumford. He grabbed Floyd, and it will be 1-1 at the other end. I'll tell you, one thing Villanova is doing is giving it the total effort right now. Massimino can't be upset with the commitment he has gotten in terms of effort.
Oh, it hasn't been a question of giving it their all out there. It's just that Providence has been executing better, although Rowley's club, always known for their last-minute ditch efforts, they're really going after here in the second half.
66 to 56, Providence by 10. Here's a look at the free throw shooting for the season and tonight. Both clubs over the limit. 6:23 to play. Corey Floyd at the line, 1-1. And both clubs are struggling at the line. But Bragg has the rebound and somehow backed it out. Sadler turning.
Oh, what a rebound.
Loose underneath again.
Murdock gets it. Murdock fires and hits. What an effort by the Friars. Marquise Bragg all over it.
Now, as happy as Massimino was with the effort of the offensive boards, he might be frustrated with that last sequence.
Those are all big turnarounds, too. That puts Providence up 12. They don't get it. Villanova comes down and scores. We're talking about an 8-point game. So
Bain posting up. And a whistle. And a forearm was used inside. And it's on Bragg, I believe.
It's intense.
5 fouls on Bragg.
It appeared that Bain cleared out. The crowd thinks so, anyhow. Bragg so aggressive down there, low post defense.
Oh, I see. The fans are reacting to the Bain pushback, but you can't put your hand on the player first. That's what
right.
the call was.
That's right. You've got to have the hands up when you're playing defense down low.
This isn't the NBA. Bain at the line. 2 shots.
Probably as much contact as in the NBA. Called a little differently, perhaps. Very physical.
Providence has committed 10 team fouls, hence Bain getting the 2 shots.
The Big East regarded as one of the most physical, if not the most physical conferences in the country. Used to always be the Big Ten that was referred to that way.
And it tends to get more physical when the shooting percentage goes down.
That's true, particularly in the half-court set.
Home run ball. Long lead to Murdock. He goes in. Basket. 70 to 58.
Villanova too aggressive that time. You can't give up the home run ball. Murdock, one of the best finishers in the country.
Mumford with it. Outside Lance Miller. 5:25 to play. Providence 70, Villanova 58. Offensive foul, and Lance Miller is gone.
Key play in the ball game. Corey Floyd with the D.
6 fouls on Lance Miller. And Villanova will lose some offensive spark.
Not only offensive spark, but his leadership on the floor to boot. He's the guy that's been trying to do it, get some things going. Perhaps some acting on the play. But there was the forearm, and when you see that, you tend to see the offensive call.
Lance does not feel the calls are going his way tonight. But there are evenings like that. So Miller leaves with 12. 5:15 to play.
Much too early, in my opinion, for Providence to start getting into some kind of a delay game. That's where you lose momentum. You end up turning it over, rushing shots. Gonna be aggressive.
Floyd missing. Loose ball. And finally picked up by Bryce, and he has Bain open, and he threw it away.
See, that's your big guy. Got to get possession, give it up. Don't be out of control.
Well, he threw the bounce pass, which is the right pass to throw.
He was going, though, with a full head of steam. You've got to pull up there. Even if you don't get the home run ball to the basket, give it up to a backcourt and then go in there to the basket.
Providence will inbound with a 12-point lead. Murdock goes coast to coast, dishes to Sadler.
Great feed, great finish by Sadler. The Friars can feel it.
A major punctuation mark by Marvin Sadler. And a 3-pointer by Mumford.
That quiets the crowd.
Oh, it was a crucial time, and it cuts the lead back to 11. And then it's knocked out of bounds as Walker pressures Floyd. And Villanova, just moments ago, down 14 and in deep trouble. Now down 11 and with the ball. So the game changes so quickly. And Woodard and Bain come back in, replacing Mumford and Bird.
And the 3-point shot, of course, in college basketball, anything can happen with the 3. You can put a few of those together.
On the Buick scoreboard, a minute and a half to go, and UConn leads Pittsburgh by 6. Mumford on the baseline. Outside Walker for 3. Yes!
He's been a big shot guy throughout his career.
It is an 8-point ball game. And a blocking foul called on Bain. And Corey Floyd will go to the line for 1 and 1. And every time you count Villanova for dead, they hang in there and come back.
Corey Floyd been playing a lot more minutes of late for the Friars, but clearly when he goes to the line in this type of situation, it'll be a new one for him. only 10 Big East free throws coming into this game.
But Mr. Floyd has the second best free throw percentage in Providence College history, 92%.
Without a lot of attempts, but he looked very comfortable on that one.
It's a little easier with fewer attempts. Floyd converts. 10-point ball game. Friars with the lead, coming up on 4:15 to go. Bain to Bryson, outside to Mumford. Nova's hit their last 2 threes, and Mumford lost his footing, and he's called for traveling. A wet spot on the floor, and a tough break for Villanova.
I'll say. Just unfortunate for him to hit that spot. He goes down, the pivot foot goes with him. And those are the kinds of things when you're down that you can't afford to have happen. Freddie Campbell on the bench next to Marquise Bragg.
Watts back in the game for Providence. Watts, Murdock, Floyd, Simpkins.
Oh, nice pass.
Sadler. And here is Simpkins. Give the man a 9-7. (76-64) Providence.
Nova needs one now.
Walker. Murdock with the rebound.
See, he'll just hold it, work the clock, and he's the last guy that the Cats want to send to the foul line. Be careful of the 5-second call.
3:40 to play, 76-64 Providence.
Both teams with a couple of timeouts left. Possession arrow favors
Murdock
Villanova.
way off the mark. He put that one up from about 30. Sadler gets the ball underneath, out of bounds, and it will be Villanova basketball.
What's that one? Don't save it underneath your opposition's basket.
Well, we'll take a break and regroup. Providence with a 12-point lead and 3:22 left to go. We'll be back. Academics and intercollegiate athletics are a winning combination of Big East college campuses. This week, Gillette and the Big East proudly recognize these individuals. The right guard, scholar athlete, Providence College junior Michael Gagliardi of Branford, Connecticut, a member of the Friars tennis team. And the Big East soft and dry scholar athlete is University of Pittsburgh senior Clarissa Dudley of Newport News in NCAA National Track Meet Qualifier. Welcome back to the Providence Civic Center. I'm Bruce Beck, along with 25-24 Ron Perry, who scored that many points in his collegiate career. There is 3:22 to play. Providence leads by 12. Each club has 2 timeouts remaining. Both clubs have committed 10 personal fouls, which means we shoot 2 on both sides of the court. The possession arrow favors Villanova.
Let's see if they can free up Woodard for a shot. They've got to make it and really put the press on. Nice pass.
Bryson with the slam.
Oh.
76-66. Full court pressure by Villanova. Murdock in trouble, loses the ball out of bounds, and Villanova will get it.
Nice press by Villanova. They do a great job there to contain Murdock and then force the turnover.
3 minutes even left.
Villanova playing from behind has got to play near perfect basketball here to pull it off.
Mumford buries a 3.
Whoa. Poised for a freshman.
Villanova trails by 7. Again, full court man-to-man pressure.
A lot of holding going on out there.
Foul called, and that's the wrong man to foul, Corey Floyd. He'll shoot 2 on the other end. Is it too early to start thinking about trading 2 for possibly a 3-pointer, Ron?
I think so. Still got a 7-point game. 2:46 to go, I think so. I think you just got to come down and get the best shot you can. Hope that Providence will miss a couple of their foul shots.
Floyd misses the first. Rick Barnes employing his troops from the sidelines. Crucial game for both schools. Providence 15-11, Villanova 14-12. Game with implications for both the NCAA tournament and, of course, the upcoming Big East tournament. 8-point lead, Providence.
Certainly if the 3 is there, though, they'll take it.
Woodard loses it, and it goes out of bounds, and it will be Providence ball. So Villanova getting a lot of bad breaks, and that perfect basketball you're talking about just isn't happening.
Got to get at least a shot off at this point each time down the floor.
Watch replaces Campbell. Simpkins back in for the Friars. And he replaces Bragg.
Got to get the ball to Murdock. That's what Providence has to do. They're doubling up, though.
Almost 5 seconds. Good play by Bryson. Takes it away.
Might have been 5-2. You've got to get it to your teammate within 5.
Along the baseline, Mumford has it knocked out of bounds. Now substitutions as Bain and Woodard will replace Bird and Miller. That's been the offense-defense rotation that Rolly Massimino has used. It's all over in Pittsburgh. UConn has beaten Pittsburgh 78-68. They become the 3rd seed for the upcoming tournament. And now if Providence beats Villanova, they'll be the 7th seed in the tournament. And that would mean they would not have to play the qualifying game. So it's in Providence's hands right now. Bryson is called for the personal, his 5th.
That's a big miss by Aaron Bain, and the foul by Bryson. Let's take a look at the standings.
Here's a look at the standings right now. UConn will finish 3rd in the tie-breaking proceedings.
And again, as we've talked about, if Providence can win this game with the UConn win, they'll finish in that 7th slot.
And a lot depends tomorrow what happens with Georgetown at Syracuse. Georgetown could finish 7th, possibly.
A look of deep concern on Rolly's face. Rightfully so, down by 9 with 2:21 to go, and Sadler converting.
But if Villanova loses this ball game, there's no way Georgetown could finish 7th. Anyway, back to the game at hand. 10-point lead, Providence. 2:14 to play. Mumford loses it.
Nice job by Floyd to not power it down the floor, but work clock.
A 10-point lead at home.
Murdock ought to just hold it as much as possible now. See if he can entice Villanova to reach.
And Murdock is the man that Rick Barnes wants to put on the line.
When the game's on the line, which is now.
A minute 45 left to play. Good cut. Floyd dishes to Bragg. He can't control it. And Villanova, on a crucial turnover, gets another opportunity.
Looked like a good pass by Floyd. Bragg just couldn't reel it in.
You know, Villanova has played catch-up this entire second half. It is not fun. It is not easy to do.
The entire game. Coming from behind is tough.
Bain was open, hesitated. Walker for 3. Off the mark. Sadler saves it. What a game Sadler has played.
Played great, and he made big baskets when Providence needed it. Murdock, his overall presence again has been terrific for the Friars.
Foul called. It's on Bryson. And that is number 6. So Bryson has fouled out of the ball game. He'll be replaced by Calvin Bird. Bryson leaves with 6 points. This would be a very difficult loss for Villanova. They would drop to 14-13 overall, 7-9 in the league. And I don't know as far as the NCAA selection committee is concerned. A lot depends on what they do in the tournament. But you would think they'd have to win at least 2 games. Is that fair to say?
Definitely. I don't see how you lose this one and then go into the tournament with anything less than that, Bruce.
2 teams have made the NCAA tournament with 7-9 records from the Big East.
Hey, let's not forget, too, whoever wins the tournament's an automatic. Someone's going to come out of there winning that, and this year, I don't think anyone's a shoo-in.
Absolutely not. It's going to be the most competitive tournament in years. Mumford from 3-point land. Floyd with the rebound, and it's starting to look as though Providence, with a minute 2 to go, up 11, has this ball game pretty much at hand.
Clearly, the Friars in control right now.
So more free throws coming up for the Friars. Rolly Massimino looks on, and not much he can do when you're playing against a player such as Eric Murdock, who is our Infinity player of the game. Well, he did tonight, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, 10 assists. A complete ball game.
A lot of damage from the line. He went to the basket early in this game, and he's gotten a lot of his points tonight from the line.
And there's Miss Anna, his grandmother, who was so instrumental in his development as a person And she was here tonight to enjoy the seniors' evening. Walker hits a three. Timeout, Villanova. 80-72, 53 seconds left. It's not over yet, but it's a tough uphill climb for the Wildcats. We'll be back. Eric Murdock with a big ball game tonight. His Friars lead 80-72 with 53 seconds to go. Ronnie Perry, we did put up the player of the game graphic, but I want it to be known that we don't think this game is over yet.
Well, there's still a minute to go. The way Villanova is pressing, they can make some things happen, but Providence should be able to seal it if they can make some foul shots.
Quick foul called on Walker, and Watts will go to the line for 2 shots. Both clubs are over the limit. Both clubs have committed 10 fouls, so it's 2 free throws on both sides. 2 timeouts left for Providence, 1 for Villanova. Rick Barnes doesn't believe it's over yet.
Still got that program rolled up about as tight as it can be rolled.
At the free throw line, Chris Watts, senior from Trumbull, Connecticut. Final home game.
This is where the 2-shot foul rule, when a team is committed its 10th, takes so much pressure off of the free throws. I can remember the 1-on-1s, and that's part of the reason why this rule was instituted.
Watts hits both, 82-72. Now Villanova has to make the threes.
Watts and Murdock, the lone seniors on this year's Friar Club.
Mumford hands to Walker. Walker for 3. Off the mark. Woodard goes after it. Good save. Now what's the call? Stepped out of bounds. Providence ball. David Miller back in for defensive purposes.
The thing I've always liked about Chris Walker, he has never been afraid to take the big shots for Villanova.
Watts to Murdock. Foul called, it's on Woodard. 34 seconds to play, and the task is getting larger all the time for the Wildcats.
I'd say it's definitely reached desperation time for the Cats. Only chance now is missed free throws by Providence, and Villanova coming down and nailing several three-point shots.
And Murdock at the line, an 83% free throw shooter on the year, but better than that in crunch time with less than 3 minutes to play. Bain replaces David Miller, who contributed especially defensively in this ball game.
Lance's brother and cousin of Eric Murdock.
Murdock cans the first. 27 for Murdock, right at his average. And yet I think the Friars are a better ball club when he scores under 40. You know what I mean? If he's under 30, when he scores 35 to 45, he's putting up a lot of shots. He got a lot of people involved tonight. It was a quiet 27. Walker with a 3-pointer. Villanova down 9, 22 seconds to play. Watts knocked out of bounds. Oh, but it will be Providence basketball with 17 seconds to go. Well, Villanova has never finished any lower than a 6th seed in a Big East tournament. That was back in 86-87. But if they lose this ball game, they'll go in as the 8th seed. Watts, a senior, leaves the ball game and gets a nice ovation.
Played well when he was out there.
He did. Made those 2 threes early. 10 seconds to play, and I think it's fair to say this one is over. So let's consider the implications. First of all, Villanova 14-13 overall, 7-9 in the Big East. NCAA chances, I don't know, you be the judge. It looks tough. They would certainly have to win a couple in the Big East tournament, one would think. Providence, 16-11 overall, 7-9 in the Big East. NCAA chances certainly brightening. Last year they made the tournament, and they were 17-11. As far as the Big East tournament is concerned, Providence will be the 7th seed. They will play number 2, St. John, 7 p.m. on Friday. And Villanova will be the number 8 seed. They will take on Boston College. That game on Thursday evening in the qualifying game. Murdock, perhaps playing his final game at Providence College, and even Rolly Massimino will applaud for this outstanding young man who had an unbelievable senior season. Let's listen. Murdock finishes with 30 for the 12th time this year, and it's all over. Providence now 15-2 at home. 86-75 over Villanova.
A big win for Providence. They had to get it. They won it at home.
So that is it from the Providence Civic Center. Along with Ron Perry, our final score once again, Providence 86, Villanova 75. I'm Bruce Beck. The proceeding has been a Big East Conference Television Network production.
Providence College basketball is brought